Local news, national news, even feel-good news. Delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
All right, I got a quick question for everybody. When does Friday night high school football start here in Orange County? It doesn't start tonight, does it? I mean, school just started yesterday, so we're not going to have Friday night high school football starting tonight, right? Someone who knows the answer to that, would you please let me know? 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326, or use the open mic in the WDBO app. And, it's interesting. My twin sons, Scooby and Shaggy, they don't play football. But I plan on going to every Friday night high school football game at their school out in West Orange County. They don't go to West Orange High School. They just go to a high school out in West Orange County. And one of my twins, Scooby, is absolutely ripped. He has been working out, and he's really into health and fitness, which I'm so proud of him. And now my other twin, Shaggy, is similarly getting into working out as well. So they're both going to be big and ripped. And Scooby tells me that the football coach keeps approaching him and saying, "Hey, man, do you want to join the team?" Because first of all, it's a pretty new school, so they don't have they don't have a big winning football legacy. It's a brand new high school, and my son, like I said, he's big, he's tall, and he's ripped, but he's never played football in his life, ever, and I got to tell you, as a dad that has the benefit now of hindsight, of looking back at brain injuries and CTE and all that kind of stuff, I don't think I would encourage my kids to play football. I don't think I would stand in their way if that was something that they were passionate about, but I don't think I would encourage them to play football. And I'm curious, moms and dads, knowing what we know now about football, knowing what we know now about head injuries, knowing what we know now about the long-term effects of concussion after concussion after concussion, would you allow your kids to play football today? Not that football has changed. I mean, helmets have changed a little bit. Gosh, they used no helmets in the beginning. Then they used leather helmets after that. And the helmets are certainly getting better. The tech is getting better, and leagues and school districts and such are getting smarter at concussion protocols. But knowing what we know now about concussions, would you allow your kids, or would you encourage your kids to play football? What do you think? 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. Laurel, you don't have any sons.
No, but my husband and I have spoken about it, and should we be blessed with a son in the future? I said, my husband's a hockey guy, and I'm like, hockey's okay with me, but football's not, particularly because when I was in high school, a kid in my grade was tackled on the field, and he was paralyzed for the rest of his life. He, from then on, for the last 2 years of high school, was in a wheelchair because he was tackled and paralyzed, and football, I know people love football and good for them, but it scares me, man, as a mom.
I was at a football game, a collegiate game in Tulsa, when one of the opposing players broke his neck in a play. And man, that is one of those sights and frankly sounds that you'll never forget. You'll never forget something like that. And believe it or not, and I kid you not, even though I was born without the sporting gene, I did play when I was a little kid. I played t-ball, but I also played ice hockey when I was a little kid. And my phone is ringing at the moment. Nobody ever calls me.
What?
Laurel, can you talk for just a second? I want to answer this call. Can you talk for a second?
Yeah, sure. So my husband and I, like I said, he played hockey growing up his whole life, and then he actually played adult hockey for a while. And I know you can get as injured in hockey as you can in football, but I guess there's more padding. I don't know. It seems to me like
brutal sport, though.
It totally is.
It really is.
I mean, do you think there are just as many injuries, Paul Cross, in hockey as there are in football?
There are less teeth in hockey than there are in football.
That's true.
That's a given. I grew up on hockey. I never really played hockey. Roller hockey, kind of dabbled in that. Never played football. But I think that the sport of hockey it's always been physical. It's always been probably not as bad as concussion. Well, I haven't seen too many concussions or heard of too many concussions in hockey, at least not as many in hockey as there is in football.
And maybe that's why I'm okay with it, because the teeth don't bother me. That I know, every so often people get nicked with blades. That doesn't bother. It's the concussions that I worry about. And like you said, I feel like there are less concussions in hockey than maybe football.
Well, what do you think the most violent sport is? What would you not let your child play? I mean, if you said football is probably up there when it comes to contact sports, it's pretty high up on the list of being injury prone and violent. But what other sports would you consider to be as violent, if not more violent, than football?
The only one I can think of,
Joe
funny
Kelley's
enough,
back.
is rugby. But Joe, I don't think they play rugby here in the
brutal.
U.S. Oh, he's got to turn
you're not
on his
the air,
mic.
Joe.
Hold on.
Here we go. Okay, so yeah, I don't know about rugby either. I'm so sorry. I have never taken a phone call on the radio before in my life, but I needed to answer that call. So forgive me for having to take that call, but I've got it all sorted out now. So thank you very much for that.
Well, we were talking about whether or not to put our kids in football, just like you were. We were continuing your conversation and wondering if you would encourage it, but you don't know if you'd tell them no. But we were trying to figure out if there's any other sports out there that would be considered as violent or more than football, that are a risk to children.
Laurel, you mentioned hockey. I mean, hockey is a violent game. I mean, they don't allow fist fights in football. They allow fist fights in hockey. Of course, that's pro hockey.
They encourage fist fights in hockey.
That's pro hockey. But if you're in high school hockey, they don't allow fights in high school hockey. But hockey, you're going to lose some teeth. You could lose an eye. I knew a guy, Clint Malarchuk. I knew Clint personally, and Clint Malarchuk was a goaltender who, during a game, he ended up on the ice, and someone's blade went right across his jugular. And if you go to YouTube and look this up, Clint Malarchuk. It'll self-populate the rest of it, because it'll be like Clint Malarchuk, jugular vein bleeding to death on an ice rink. He didn't die, but boy, he lost so much blood on that ice. And we hear that from time to time about people getting injured playing hockey. So
so we were trying to decide if there are more concussions or just as many concussions in football as there are in hockey, and if not, why so? I've never played. Maybe the safety padding's different. I don't really know.
Honestly, I'll tell you, cheerleading is a dare I say sport. I know that there's controversy as to whether or not it's a sport or if it's an activity. The way my daughter does it, it is absolutely a sport. She, like my other son, Scooby, she is absolutely ripped. My kids are so physically fit, it blows my mind. They don't get that from me, quite clearly. All right, 844-580-WD. What? I don't read lips. Why are you, what? Why do people talk to me like I can read lips? I can't read lips. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. Let's go to Roger in Orlando. Roger, you're on the Joe Kelley Show. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. This is a very funny topic that you have brought up. As growing up north, I have 4 other brothers, and my dad used to teach Little League, Pee Wee football type of thing. And our house was filled with all that gear. And when I was just a little kid, they put me in the helmet and all that gear and told me to go out there and play. And when I came back home at night, I took off that gear and said, you can get killed out there. There's just no way I'm playing football. And to this day, my older brother that played, in a little town league, told me, he goes, that's the smartest thing you ever said as a little kid, is that you could get killed in that sport playing football.
And there's an element of it, Roger, where I feel like we're being a bunch of pansies, right? I'm sure there are some guys listening to our show right now going, what a bunch of pansies those guys are. Get out there, you're all snowflakes. You're right? I mean, I feel like I hear that from some members of our audience right now. But we've learned a lot about the dangers of football and for youth in particular.
Isn't it just basically kill the kid with the ball?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. When you say kill the kid with the ball, I'm like, wait a minute. Someone died? You're talking about the game
but
like
I mean,
like King of the Mountain type thing.
Dodgeball. Yeah. We grew up playing dodgeball where you stood in a circle and they would throw the ball at you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it was definitely something that, my brother still brings up to this day, even though all four of my older brothers played football in the Little League in that pony division in our small New England type of town. But, yeah, no, I was a manager in high school for the football team, but definitely not one of my sports.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thanks, Roger.
Love listening to you all.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good weekend. It's nice talking to you. Let's go to Dan in Apopka, the big APK. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hey, good, sir. Good, sir. Hey, I think we're kind of sliding into that kind of one of the problems we're in now is that we try to protect our kids too much. I think if you look at the amount of kids who play versus the severe injuries, it's probably fairly small. The protective gear is better. The coaching is better. Stuff that I did in high school is now illegal. Now, it still happens. You just don't get caught at it. But, I think and I grew up in the South, so we didn't play hockey, but I love it. It's a great game. But it's, it's just as violent, but it is also just incredible to watch the athleticism of these guys. My daughter played soccer for the better part of 15 years, had 3 ACL surgeries. She kept going back to it because she loved the game.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm telling you, my daughter is a cheerleader, is a competitive cheerleader. She's 19 now in college, and she has had her knee operated on. She blew out her knee in cheerleading, and man, those cheerleaders. I cannot count how many concussions that she has had. Because she was a flyer, so she was the girl up on top that was getting thrown around and such, and she would fall down and hit her head on the mat and get concussions. So, I mean, there's dangers that are inherent with so many of our activities. But the question remains, would you today, knowing what we know now, let your kids play football? 844-580-WDBO. Use the open mic and the WDBO app. We'll get you caught up on the headlines you missed today while you're at work. That is coming up next.
Amplify your career through training and development solutions specifically designed for federal government professionals. From courses to help you attain or retain certification, to individualized coaching services, to programs that hone your leadership skills and business acumen, Management Concepts optimizes your professional development. Online, in person, individually, or groups, it's training that's measurably better. Learn more at managementconcepts.com. That's managementconcepts.com.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
If you're just joining us here on WDBO, you have probably been hard at work all day, sweltering in this ridiculous heat. Oh, my gosh, it's 98 degrees at 5:24 in the afternoon. It is brutally hot right now. If you've been at work all day, be it indoors or out, maybe down in the coal mines, you've been out in the sequin mines of Kissimmee. Perhaps you have been on the factory floor making those cylindrical things that you make. Whatever it is, you might have missed some of the stories, the headlines that broke while you're at work today from 9 to 5. The New York Times had the story 7 hours ago, citing corruption in the enlistment process. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissed key military recruiters. A big move amid a need for fresh soldiers. I didn't know that they had enlistment in Ukraine. I thought it was, oh, you're in Ukraine, here's a rifle. I thought they just made everybody fight. Am I wrong about that? It just seems like when your nation is invaded, everybody should grab a rifle and start fighting. 7 hours ago, the Associated Press reported that the United Nations now says 5 staff members who were kidnapped in Yemen 18 months ago have walked free. That's got to be good news. 6 hours ago, ABC News had the report the Illinois State Supreme Court rules that a strict assault weapons ban, so-called assault weapons ban, passed after the Highland Park shooting is unconstitutional. Well, we'll see what the U.S. Supreme Court has to say about that. 5 hours ago, the Associated Press reported that 47 weapons and more than 26 rounds of ammunition were seized from the home of a Southern California judge who is charged with murder in the shooting death of his wife. Now, 47 weapons, I'm sure to some people, everything is a matter of perspective, right? 47 weapons to someone who's never had a gun in their lives sounds like a lot of guns. For someone who owns guns, 47 weapons sounds like a good collection. To me, that sounds like an adequate collection. 26,000 rounds of ammo is an expensive purchase these days. That's a lot of money that guy has in ammo. I'm curious what his plans were for that. 4 hours ago, the Associated Press broke the news. We broke it here on WDBO. Attorney General Merrick Garland announces that he's appointing a special counsel in the Hunter Biden probe, deepening the investigation of the president's son ahead of the 2024 election. Just an hour ago, Newsmax had the story, breaking news. Sam Bankman-Fried's bail is revoked ahead of his October fraud trial. This, according to U.S. Judge today, prosecutors accused the indicted founder of a bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange of tampering with witnesses. Pretty sure they frown on that kind of stuff. And 1 hour ago, the New York Times, a shakeup at Fox News as Fox News' top lawyer, Viet Din, is departing in a major shakeup after the landmark $787.5 million Fox Dominion settlement. So their top lawyer is out after settling for $787 million. By the way, speaking about Fox News, I got a call from Brian Kilmeade today. I'll be hosting the Brian Kilmeade Show Wednesday of next week, right in the middle of the week. I don't know why. I don't ask why. Just for anybody's future reference, if Brian Kilmeade ever calls and says, "Hey, can you fill in for me?" You don't ask why. Why? You say yes. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much. I like that. So I'll be hosting the Kilmeade Show next Wednesday, and then of course I'll be right back here with you guys as well. All right, we're talking about Friday night high school football. By the way, we do have an answer to the original question I asked, which was, when does Friday night high school football start?
Hi, my name is Kelley from Apopka, Florida. Lake Brantley High School football starts August 18th.
August 18th, so a week from tonight. Ooh, there is just something about Friday night high school football that I love. It takes me back to my high school days. I don't even care who wins. I just want to go and I want to get some garbage food from the concession stand. I mean, any restaurant that's called a concession stand is not going to be good food, right? It's going to be bad hot dogs and maybe a greasy cheeseburger and a bag of popcorn that was probably popped like 3 weeks ago. But there's something about sitting in the stands. Of course, it's going to be really hot for another month or two. So I might want to wait till it cools off just a little bit because it can be stifling hot up in the stands. But I'm very excited about Friday night. And marching bands, the cheerleaders, it's all so much fun. I absolutely love it. All right, coming up here in just a moment, Governor DeSantis says he is open to using drone strikes on drug cartels in Mexico. This, of course, only if he's elected president, which the likelihood of that is slipping further and further away with each passing moment. But we're going to get into whether or not it is appropriate for the United States to send drone strikes into Mexico targeting drug cartels. We'll get into that coming up next. Stay right where you are here on The Joe Kelley Show.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
All right, we're going to have our Friday night fun and games coming up at 6 o'clock, so stick around for that. We're going to play games of Would You Rather, and one of the questions is going to deal with orangutans, and I know Laurel's very excited about that. In the meantime, Governor DeSantis on the campaign trail in Iowa says that he would be willing to use drones to take out drug cartels in Mexico. He says if they're invading this country and killing our people, we have the right to defend this country. I wholeheartedly disagree with Ron DeSantis on this matter, on this issue. In that, last time I checked, Mexico is a sovereign nation. And United States is a sovereign nation. How would you feel if Mexico decided to target drug users, right? So if they're the drug dealers and that's the problem, well, we're part of the problem because we're the drug consumers. What if Mexico decided, all right, we're going to target the United States because so many of their people consume so much drugs, it's ruining Mexico? You cannot just start launching missiles and drone attacks into sovereign nations. Now, I know in the Middle East that we've been doing that for a while now, but we've got, in many cases there, cooperative agreements with those nations. Sometimes they're very heavy-handed agreements. But unless Mexico gave us a green light to send in drones to attack the drug cartels, I would be dead set against that. I think that's grossly inappropriate. What do you think? 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic and the WDBO app. Michael in the comment thread here in our chat room says, that's not the way it works, Joe. Sorry. So what do you think? Is it the right thing to do to send drones to hit drug cartels in Mexico? You know, I remember when the Chinese balloon was wafting over the United States. You know, we didn't like that. We don't like Chinese balloons over the United States. Well, Mexico's not going to like U.S. drones over Mexico. And again, if the Mexican government was on board, if the Mexican government even gave us a little bit of an agreement, okay, fine, you can come in with limited strikes or coordinate with the Mexican military. I know corruption is rampant in Mexico. By the way, when President Trump was quoted as referring to S-hole countries, Mexico is an S-hole country. It's a terrible country full of corruption. By the way, it's beautiful. There's a beautiful country. The coast of Mexico is beautiful. Both coasts of Mexico are beautiful. But it is just rampant corruption has made that a hellhole, Mexico is. And the drug cartels run the place. I get it. I get what the problem is, but I disagree on the solution on that. But you can join me at 844-580-WDBO. Use the open mic and the WDBO app. We're also talking about Friday night high school football and knowing what we know now about the risk of injuries to kids' brains. Would you allow your kid to play football today? Knowing what we know now versus, what we knew in the 1970s or 80s or 90s even. You can hit us up at 844-580-WDBO. Use the open mic in the WDBO app.
Joe Kelley, don't be soft.
Yeah.
You know what else is dangerous? Driving a car.
No, that is true. That is true. Yeah, you're right about that. And remember when I said I said I know right now I can hear them. I mean, I can hear listeners saying, "Oh, y'all are a bunch of pansies. Y'all are a bunch of pansies." And then I got this open mic.
Joe, you so nailed it. Yes, there are quite a few of us out here right now going, "What a bunch of pansies." But I mean, we understand. It's just anyway. Yeah, we are. And by the way, oh yes, I played football the whole time I was a kid, junior high school, and absolutely, I'd let my kids play football.
Yeah, I played football also in the 8th grade. I played, and I was pretty amazing. By the way, I don't typically do shout-outs, but I got to say hi to Isabel. Isabel is very important to our family, and I know that she's watching on the chat stream right now. So hello, Isabel. Open mic here.
When it comes to sports injuries, every sport has their fair share. My kids played sports all their lives. My son played college baseball. My daughter played high school softball, travel ball, you name it, basketball, soccer. They've tried it all, and they've had their moments of injuries. But when it comes to football, it takes injury to a whole different level. And I've witnessed those during college football games, high school games, and, yeah, I would not recommend football for my kids.
That kind of surprised me. I didn't think that was the direction that was going. I thought for sure he was going to say, look, sports are sports, and there's always the risk of an injury in sports. And that was a nice, rational call. Appreciate that one very much. 844-580-WDBO, Paul Cross. Did you play football, Paul?
Play football.
You did?
I did not.
No, you did not.
I did not. But there is an inherent danger of any kind of sports, whether it's contact or not. I mean, I have a cousin. His name is Calvin. He lives in Canada. He was a junior hockey player, and he was really on his way to being a pro. He got an eye knocked out while playing hockey as a kid, and kind of messed up his career. We've heard of all the high school kids that dropped down from football. I was playing baseball in high school. I was a catcher. That's before they had the throat guards that dropped down.
Right.
I had a ball hit me right in the throat. A foul ball hit me in the throat, knocked me out completely. There is, no matter what, as little of a contact sport or as much of a contact sport, there is a danger involved in everything that you do. So you can't shield kids from everything. So I do say let them play. But then again, you're talking about your daughter, who that's not a contact sport or activity.
Cheerleading is not a contact sport.
But you still find injuries in that completely. You find injuries in long-distance running. You find injuries all over, all sports.
You're right. Running is not a contact sport, and you're absolutely right. How many people have blown out their knees or ankles in long-distance running, or have hip problems,
or have pushed their heart over what it's can do, and have suffered even more deeper consequences on just running or whatever.
Hey Joe, hope you're having a great day. When it comes to kids and sports and concussions, I would say this: if it makes them happy, let them do it. All sports can be dangerous: football, baseball, basketball, racing cars, rugby, hockey. It's all about risk and reward. Yes, there's a lot of risk there and there's a lot of reward. But I bet you if you ask most of those athletes, even if they didn't go to pro, at the end of their life, if they got CTE, would you do it again? I bet you most of them would say yes in a heartbeat.
I don't know. Because honestly, if they're suffering from CTE, they may not be able to make a complete sentence. CTE is some dangerous and bad stuff. And I didn't tell my kids they can't play football. I mean, I in fact, according to my son at least, the coaches asked him to play because he's a big kid. He's big and strong, and fit, and it's a brand new school. So I fully believe that makes sense that the coach is trying to recruit my son. And I wouldn't say no, but I would certainly have a discussion with him about the risks that come with it. Now, that having been said, he has injured himself recently weightlifting. So he does a lot of weightlifting. And I don't know if you know that there was a TikTok influencer. I don't know the guy's name, but he killed himself lifting weights. It was caught on video, and regrettably, I saw the video and I hated it. But he was doing squats, and the bar rolled over his neck, and it snapped his neck, and then he fell, and then... should I keep going? Because I could tell you the really gross part about it. Part of his leg bone fractured off and stabbed his chest. I mean, it was gruesome. It was terrible. But the point is, even in a safe environment where one would think you've got spotters, you've got someone who can help you, I mean, there's still an inherent danger. My son thinks he ripped a rotator cuff while weightlifting, but we have not confirmed that, and I think someone said that to him. I think he hurt his shoulder, and someone said, I bet you tore your rotator cuff, and I think he's just kind of gone with it from there. 844-580-WDBO, or hit us up in the open mic in the WDBO app. We're also talking about whether or not drone strikes. It's appropriate to send drones in to attack the drug cartels in Mexico.
Absolutely. Hit them with a drone strike. They need to learn there's consequences for going into a foreign nation uninvited.
So can I tell you, I played football in the 8th grade, and I moved to Texas in the 6th grade, so I was still pretty new to Texas, and I moved from the West Coast to Texas. I was a little kid, and my parents made me move. That's how that works, evidently, when you're a little kid. You don't get to decide. So literally, I remember this as clear as day in PE. In PE, in like the 7th grade, they said, all right. And, Texas coaches are, right? Texas high school coaches. And in this case, they were middle school coaches. But the coach was like, all right, anybody who's going to play 8th grade football next year, line up on that side of the gymnasium. And anybody who's not going to play football, line up on that side of the gymnasium. Talk about peer pressure. Oh, my gosh. I remember that moment as clear as it happened 2 seconds ago. Thinking, oh, my gosh, I was not prepared to make this decision today. I don't know what to do. Do I go over there with the kids who are not going to play football, or do I go with every cool kid in the school and go play football? So I thought, oh, what the heck? I'll go play football. And so I went over there because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to fit in just like anybody else. You just want to fit in. And I lined up with the kids to play football. And I'll never forget just one. I never knew the plays. I never knew where to line up. I wasn't good at it. I didn't like it. And there was an incident where it was freezing rain. I don't know why, but in Port Arthur, Texas, it had to have been 38, 39 degrees, and it was raining. It was cold, and we were playing a football game. And all of us on the sidelines were huddled together just to share body warmth. And I can hear, off in the distance, I hear the coach go, Kelley! And I'm like, oh, my gosh, is he calling my name? Am I the Kelley? Are there any other Kelleys on the team? There's got to be another Kelley on the team. Kelley! And he calls it again. And then next thing you know, the kids that are with me are like, dude, he's talking to you. And then he finally goes, Kelley, do you want to play or not? And I'm like, wait, hey, Coach, is this a real option? Are you offering me a real option to play or not? Because if this is a real option, I would rather not play. I think other people are more qualified to play than I am. And I ended up going out there and I played 2 plays. I never lined up in the right spot. I had no idea what happened. I fell down on the ground. I mean, it was a mess. My athletic prowess is legendary. Absolutely legendary. We will continue. 844-580-WDBO, and you don't want to miss Would You Rather coming up at 6 o'clock. Stay with us here on The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelley when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, The Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
By the way, we have an open mic from an Australian, and Laurel, I know how much that you love Australian voices, so I'll have that for you coming up in just a second here. As we're talking about Friday night high school football, I'm so excited about football season being back in, and I'm so looking forward to going to Fridays when I get off here at 7 o'clock, man. I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to be heading out to West Orange County to go watch some football games out there. And we're talking about the dangers involved in football with what we know about CTEs today.
Joe, I think it's every parent's decision as to whether to let their children do sports or not. But if your son wants to play and you're a little bit undecided, I think the main thing is that parents become involved in the behind the scenes, get to know the coach, see what he's like. Watch the workouts.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense.
So I'm from Australia. We have rugby league, we have rugby union. Check it out. We don't wear helmets. Part of the big problem here in the US is the safety features that you've got. Those helmets are big, they're heavy. They cause many of the injuries that are occurring to kids. You won't get concussion. You won't get those problems that you have with head injuries if you just have rules that are followed. We have a much tougher sport, much more violent. Check it out, rugby league and rugby union.
Can you imagine? Okay, let's just get rid of helmets in football. I don't know rugby. I know it's a game. That's about the extent of it. And I know there's something called a scrum, but otherwise I know nothing else about rugby. My name is Joe Kelley. You're listening to The Joe Kelley Show. Coming up in our next hour, we're going to really loosen up our neckties. We're going to maybe kick off our shoes and unbuckle our belt buckles and just relax and chill out. And we're going to play some games. We're going to have some fun because it's Friday and everybody's tired and it's been a long weekend. Oh, my gosh, it's been so hot this week. So stick around for Would You Rather coming up next.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Triple Team Traffic.
They still have a left lane closed here, I-4 eastbound before Parr Street. They've got a crash there. Another wreck on University Boulevard at Alafaya Trail. This is 434 there, right in front of UCF. And a crash on 429 northbound after OBT with a left lane shut down. ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Service for honesty, integrity, and 100% customer satisfaction. Call ProTech 407-291-1644 or visit ProTechAC.com. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Orlando's news and talk. Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. Join the conversation now by using the open mic in the WDBO app. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Well, I'm so glad you're joining us here on a late Friday afternoon. It is still stinking hot, 97 degrees right now, and yet I'm wearing a jacket. So are you, Laurel. It's cold here in our studios, which is fine. I can always take a jacket off if I get warm. It is Friday. It's hot. It's been one of the hottest, if not the hottest weeks on record here in Central Florida. And you guys have been working hard all week getting the kids ready for back to school. The kids have had a busy last 2 days back at school for most of our kids, at least in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Volusia and Polk don't go back. Well, let's see. Polk went back today. Volusia goes back on Monday. So it's been a busy week, and we don't on Fridays. We don't want to argue. We don't want to have controversial topics. We want to just unwind. And we want to unwind with you, our WDBO listeners. So we like to play some Friday night fun and games. Sometimes we'll play trivia. Sometimes we'll do generational trivia. Tonight we're going to do Would You Rather questions, which really digs deep into the psyche of the members of our team as we learn what kind of people they are. Are they really good people? Are they really bad people? Are they somewhere in between? So our contestants are...
Do they like orangutans? Do they not like orangutans?
Our contestants are the one and only Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
We've got the one and only Nicole Diaz. Hello, Nicole Diaz.
Hello.
And then, of course, we have the one and only Paul Cross.
Yay.
Yay. And then me. Yay. And then me. Hey, I'm Joe Kelley.
I think we're all more excited for Paul.
I'm very excited for Paul. All right, so here's your first question. Are you guys ready? So these are going to be questions, and you just have to pick which one of these you'd rather do, okay? The first one, would you rather fight, Laurel, would you rather fight a pack of 8 wolves or 1 grizzly bear? Fight to the death.
Okay, just for numbers, I'm going with the grizzly bear.
You know a grizzly bear will kill you, right?
Well, he's already started. Why?
I knew that was coming. No matter what answer you give, there's a downside to it, and Joe Kelley will be right there to let you know it.
All right, Nicole, what about you? A pack of 8?
I'm going to go with the grizzly, and I don't care if you tell me that this is not true. I've heard that if you take a stick and you make a circle around yourself in front of the grizzly bear, you're asserting dominance or something, and that the grizzly bear will stand down. So don't tell me that's not true.
I don't know. I don't know if
it's true in my head, and so I'm going to pick grizzly bear.
That sounds fair enough. What about you, Paul Cross?
We're going to be technical here and say, no, he said fight to the death. You have to kill that dang bear.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You can't just wave a stick at it until it just gets bored with you and walks away.
Yeah.
So I will be killed.
Whose side are you on?
Yeah,
no,
Paul.
I'm just telling you, this is the whole deal. I'm going to just get killed by a grizzly bear. That's the way I'm going to look at it. Yep.
Oh, that's probably, yeah. I see. Oh, because you know what, Paul? I was actually thinking that I was going to pick the pack of wolves because I could climb a tree and the wolves wouldn't be able to get me in a tree. But I just realized by your rules, fighting to the death.
My rules? You're the one that said it. You're the one that said fight to the death.
I can't handle the pressure.
Fight to the death, Joe Kelley.
All right, then I'm still going to go with the wolves because I don't think that a human has any chance against a grizzly bear. So I'm gonna be the odd man out and go with the pack of 8 wolves. I think I've got a better chance of killing 8 wolves than 1 grizzly bear. All right, this one, I honestly can't come up with an answer for this one for myself. So, Laurel, you're up first. You can receive one wish from the following options. So which of these would you choose? You could end world hunger. You could cure cancer. You could receive $100 billion. You could resurrect one person in a perfectly healthy body, or you could become immortal.
Oh, some of those are terrible.
Right?
And some of those are... I am going to go with cancer.
What?
Yep, I'm going to go with cure cancer.
Cure
'cause
cancer.
I think that can be terrible, and you know why. Why. I choose cancer.
All right, Nicole, what about you?
I'm going to go with cancer because I think cancer is the only thing that no matter how much money you throw at it, it could possibly not be cured. So I'd rather just cure that because it's the only thing that money can't.
That's a nice answer. I like that very much. I score you a 10 out of 10 on that one. Paul Cross?
Right off the bat, first thing I thought of is I would cure cancer. Everybody's been affected by someone with that disease, including yourself.
Yep.
And I would choose that over anything because those F cancer hats and T-shirts, I'm all on board.
So here's my thought process. First of all, end world hunger. I feel like if you end world hunger today, by tomorrow that's going to be shot to hell and people are going to be hungry again. So I don't know if you can end world hunger in perpetuity and for all time. And then when it comes to curing cancer, okay, let me skip that one. $100 billion, yeah, no, I don't need that. Resurrect one person in a perfectly healthy body. My first thought would be my dad, but then that would just be weird, having my dad back. I don't think that was a good idea at all. And then becoming immortal sounds terrible. That just sounds like a punishment of some sort. So I guess by default,
Don't you say you're going to live till you're 100?
I am, but that's not immortality.
I mean, that's pretty close.
I'm just going to live to 100, and then at 100, I'm going to do heroin, and then I'm going to die.
But remember,
you never
it's
mentioned
not
that second part to it. You just said you were going to live to 100.
Well, but when I get to be 100, at that point, I've got nothing to lose. I've never done heroin.
What if you're still on the radio at 100? You have your show.
I will probably be very disappointed in myself if I'm still on the radio at 100 years old.
Okay, well.
It's not the quality or quantity of life, it's the quality of life. And once you get to that age, I mean, you're not Noah. You're not going to build an ark at 160 years old.
Right. Exactly.
At 100, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. So, the immortality thing doesn't work. That's bad. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll go with cure cancer. All right. Question number 3. Laurel, you have a baseball bat. Which animal would
I thought you meant like currently.
I
was like, okay.
Who snorted? Who did that? Was that me? Oh, it was me. Sorry. All right, Laurel, you have a baseball bat. Which animal would you rather fight to the death? A moose or an orangutan?
Oh, my gosh. Moose are so scary.
They're big, too. They're giant.
They're really fast, and they can swim real fast.
And they've got horns.
They can swim? They can swim real fast.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they can swim fast. They can run on water almost.
Yeah. But the orangutan can grab the bat.
That's my thought. That was exactly my thought. I'm going to swing at the orangutan and he's going to grab the bat and he's going to beat my ass with it.
Yeah, I think I'd do that. I would just rather die by the moose, so I'm going to do the moose.
Sorry, you're going to go with the moose. What about you, Nicole?
I've seen a moose. I've never seen an orangutan. So I feel more comfortable with a moose just because I've seen one in person.
Yeah.
And they're big, but I didn't know they could swim. That's kind of scary.
Yes. Again, good answer. 10 out of 10. Paul Cross.
Batter up against the moose.
Yeah, I feel like even if the moose is running at you, you could swing the bat and still, crack it over the top of the head.
That's because you actually
One
can
miss.
reach the moose. People like me and Laurel probably are below the moose's chest, so we can't really swing at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, hang on. Question number 4. Oh, yeah. Question number 4. Would you rather receive $1 million right now or $1,000 every time you run 500 meters? Laurel.
No, give me the $1 million. I don't want to run for nothing.
I thought you were a runner.
I was, and I just haven't been for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's going to take me a minute to get up to the 500 meters.
A minute or two, got it.
Yeah.
All right, so
take the money now.
All right, Nicole, what about you? $1 million now or $1,000 every time you run 500 meters?
I think $1,000 every time I run 500 meters because it'll motivate me to run.
See, she's got a good point there, and she's got youth on her side, so she's got a lot of time to run the 500 meters.
Yes.
For those of us,
it's 0.31 miles. That's not bad.
Hang on, how much is 500 meters?
0.31 miles.
Hang on, the zero in front of the point is what's throwing me off. So it's
3 miles.
It's 0.3 of a mile.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very far at all.
Yeah. Did
Laurel,
you think 500 meters was longer?
Are we going to get on the metric system again?
Well, for the math people, how many miles do you have to run to get to 1 million then?
Right.
Get to $1 million.
All right,
that is
Nicole.
beyond the math that UCF makes me take
Wait.
as a journalist.
Hang on. So what question do I have to ask Google to get this answer? Divide.
Okay, 3/10 goes into 1 how many times? And then we have to divide that by 1 million. 0.3
that is a lot to
into
do on air. I think we should just
1.
come back to this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Someone needs to take charge here. I don't know. All right, here's your next
Okay,
question.
it's the Nicole Diaz show. Go
There you
ahead.
go. All right. Question number 5. Which of these would you rather rid the world of for 5 years? All manner of pornography and sex work, alcohol and recreational drugs, junk food and fast food, or social media and online shopping. So those were groupings, okay? So that was the
Yeah.
You got me on that one? So which would you rather rid the world of for 5 years? Pornography and sex work, alcohol and drugs, junk food, fast food, and social media online shopping.
So the first one is the oldest profession in humanity, right? And I feel like taking that away could lead to more violent consequences. I love online shopping. I thrive on it. And if you make me go to a store by myself and in person, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with fast food, even though I really like fast food.
Oh, I do too.
I feel like that's the one I'll go with. I'll take that away.
Nicole, what about you?
I was going to say the same only because it's just fast food and not restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that. Also, going back, it's 333 miles to get to 1 million. That's not bad if you think about it over 30 years.
Or you take the million
I was
immediately.
Say just run a mile a day, right?
Oh,
and you get it within a year.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
Ish.
All right, Paul Cross, what about you?
I think I would do the alcohol and drugs. I'd get rid of them for 5 years. I'd see, kind of like pushing the reset button on that stuff and see what happens.
So my answer would be, and Laurel, you've given me something to ponder here, but my instinct, my automatic reaction would have been all manners of pornography and sex work. Pornography for certain. I mean, I think pornography is so dangerous and detrimental to our society. But the sex workers, I know that there are people whose livelihoods depend upon that. I was reading a Reddit thread recently about, and it was addressed to guys, and the question was, is it normal to hire a prostitute at one point or another in your life? And and I lived in Las Vegas. My reaction is, no, that's not normal. It's not normal to behavior to hire a prostitute. I mean, I don't think they poll on stuff like that, but I'd be curious to see.
I mean, I'd be curious to see that too. I mean, I've never done that in my life, but I'm curious to see how many out of 10 guys have done that.
I knew a guy in Vegas who was very open about it, and he absolutely used prostitutes. And honestly, if you knew the guy, that would be his only hope of having any kind of relations with a woman. So I feel like pornography and sex work would be the one that I would want to get rid of. Hang on, coming up next, we've got more, including animals that we have to kill and situations that we have to eliminate. We'll continue our Would You Rather on our Friday night fun and games here on the Joe Kelley Show. As they like to say, don't nobody go nowhere.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Talk and discussion on the latest breaking national news.
Crude oil prices continue to fall.
Local news.
You're not going to have Disney have its own government in Central Florida.
And stories that matter to you. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let your voice be heard on the Joe Kelley Show.
All right. It's Friday night fun and games here on the Joe Kelley Show. Oh, I just spit while I was talking. That's gross. I'll just send a note to the engineers. I spit on the console. All right, it's Would You Rather questions. Laurel, are you ready for the next question?
Let's do it.
Which would you rather permanently delete from the internet? Snapchat, Reddit, 4chan, Discord, TikTok, or Twitter, now known as X?
4chan. It feels like nothing but garbage comes out of that site.
Nicole?
I don't even know what that site is, so I'm going with that one.
Paul? Oh, Paul's mic's not on. Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry, not a clue. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Huh. So I would definitely pick 4chan because Laurel is absolutely right. 4chan is nothing but garbage. Every QAnon theory you've ever heard, every garbage, all internet garbage originates from 4chan.
All the team-up bullying campaigns,
Yeah.
like everything negative is on that site.
4chan.
I don't know
This
anything
seems
about
like it was
4chan.
made like a really long time ago. Like it's very outdated.
It's been
website.
around for a long time. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an archaic-looking website, but it is nothing.
Fossil of a website.
Nothing but garbage and hate, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. All right, number 7. This is going to be fun. Laurel, would you rather kill a bee, right, a honeybee, every time you breathe, or kill a human every time you poop?
There's no way to sound nice about this. I'm just going to
not-
say it.
You do not need to share your poop schedule on air. Just want to make that clear.
The bees, if you kill all them, then we're eventually going to lose food, and then all the humans die anyways. So, yeah,
that's
we're
right.
going with the humans.
Every time you poop?
Yep.
All right, Nicole?
I mean, I know the phrase "save the bees," but I didn't know what was behind it. So I'm gonna trust Laura on this and pick the same because I'm scared about what decisions I'd be making or what torment I'm bringing onto the world if I kill the bees every time I breathe.
Paul Cross?
Yeah, I can't imagine killing bees every time I breathe. But
you kill one
But a
bee.
human's fine.
Poop,
But
too.
you kill one
Can we
bee.
pick the human?
How many times do you breathe in a day?
Wait.
How long can I hold my breath?
Hang on a second. Hey, Google, how many bees are there?
On the website a-c-animals.com, they say there are at least 2 trillion bees currently in the world. Estimates place the number of honeybee colonies worldwide at
2
81
trillion.
million and the total number of
Can you
managed
pick the
beehive.
human
So
every
we
time
have.
you go poop?
Hey, Google, stop. So we have 2 trillion bees.
You take 22,000 breaths in a day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
So what's
He
22,000?
makes the questions and then gets surprised.
What's
Ask her. Ask your machine.
What's okay? Hang on. Hey Google, what's 22,000 times 365?
22,000 times 365 is 8,030,000.
So you're going to kill 8 million bees a year.
And how many millions? It's a million, and a trillion, right?
Let me move on to the next question.
Why do you keep making us do math?
All right, I don't know if we have time here for the next question, so y'all hang on a second. I'm very much looking forward to the brass knuckles question that we have coming up here in just a few minutes. So stand.
I also want to point out that I haven't said it yet, but you have asked quite a few questions that are not would you rathers.
Well, yeah.
No, they're not. They're like, do you want to kill a bear? You want to fight a moose or fight this? And you're not wording them correctly.
All
Just
right.
saying.
I'm working on that. I will.
Just a little producer note for you.
I will seek to improve my performance. All right, hang on. We'll have more for you coming up next. Stay right where you are here on The Joe Kelley Show.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. In-depth segments on topics that matter to Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
I love your show every night. You're doing great, bud.
Well, I'm so glad you're joining us here on The Joe Kelley Show. My name is Joe Kelley, and we've got our entire cast here tonight. It is a Friday. Let me introduce everybody properly. There's WDBO's Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
We have WDBO's Nicole Diaz. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
We have WDBO's Paul Cross. Hello, PC.
Hello there.
The star of the show.
We have a new guy on the team, by the way. His name is Greg. It's not Doug, no matter what you people say. It's Greg.
Where did Doug come from?
I don't know where Doug came from, but we asked him to leave right away. But Greg is training on the control board as our new producer, and he is not yet allowed. He has not yet earned the ability to open a microphone and start talking on the radio. But we hope that is going to happen.
Maybe soon. Maybe.
I hope so.
But we have to make sure that he's not just Doug in a costume.
Right. But he seems a good guy, and he seems to be a quick learner, and we like that. So we're excited to be able to introduce you maybe in the next week to Greg, not Doug. So stand by for that. All right. It's our Friday night Would You Rather, Friday night fun and games. Laurel, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. You'll be into this one, I think. Would you rather have, this is would you rather have an alien invasion, a zombie apocalypse, an artificial intelligence takeover, or a mass technology failure?
Oh, okay. I'm going between the aliens and just everything failing. I'm going to go with the aliens. Because there's a chance they won't zap us all into oblivion and they will just give us cool stuff.
Have you not seen alien movies?
I've seen more zombie movies, and
Yeah.
I'm taking my chances with the aliens.
All right, Nicole.
I'm going to go with the aliens. I feel like I'd be friends. They're probably small. I imagine that they're my size.
Okay.
So I feel like they'd see a small human and be like, ooh.
They're fun size then.
Yeah, maybe. In my head they are. Maybe.
It's like a fun-sized Snickers.
That's
got
right.
your fun-sized aliens.
That's right. All right, Paul Cross, what about you?
I think I'd probably end up going for the it depends on whether or not I'm on life support, but maybe just a failure of everything, just to shake the world up.
Yeah, I think that's where I am too.
Support.
I think that's where I am as well. I'm mass technology failure. I think.
That's why I didn't. The medical reason was the only reason I didn't choose that, because I feel like we have so many medical technologies, we'd kill a lot of people taking it all away.
So now by choosing that, I have just killed a whole bunch.
You chose mass murder, so.
Yeah, how does it feel? You always tell us the downsides. Now we're telling
terrible.
you.
Laurel, by the way, they want your attention in the chat room. Evidently, there's a button to push. Okay, next question. Would you rather fight to the death?
Yes.
A giraffe or a gorilla? Laurel.
A giraffe. First of all, they're incredibly skittish, so it would probably just run away.
You would have to chase it. You have to kill it.
Well, that's good. That gives me even more time to kill it instead of having to just fight.
All right, Nicole.
I feel like I could get it to trip over itself and somehow die.
Okay. Paul?
Although I will feel sad about killing a giraffe because they're gorgeous, but they have they have big, long necks, but their bodies are relatively small, so.
Paul?
I feel like I get the giraffe to have a rational discussion with me, sit down over a beer and just kind of talk about it. What's going to happen?
Well,
so it'll be the giraffe for me.
I'm thinking the way to kill the giraffe is to strangle it. But honestly, which part of the neck do you grab? do you go up high? Do you start down at the base of the neck? I mean, is there a part of the neck that is more vulnerable than other parts of the neck? Either way, a gorilla would kill you much faster than you could kill it. Okay, next question. Would you rather go back in time and prevent a major world-changing event or give your younger self the opportunity to become rich? Laurel.
Oh, that's tough. No, I'm going to choose the good for the world because I feel like young Laurel would blow her money. Because young Laurel did blow her money, so I don't want to give myself that chance again. I could do worse damage.
Nicole?
I would say younger because I always tell myself, geez, you should have invested in, real estate in 2008 when you were in first grade.
Yeah, right, because that's what most first graders...
Younger Amy,
that's what most first graders are thinking about.
Yeah. So, I really messed up in 2008 on that. So I would say give myself younger money or money to my younger self.
Paul Cross?
We have discussed this in the past, and I cannot change my way of thinking, and that is if you do change anything in the past, it has that ripple effect.
The butterfly effect.
And you really, really have to take the money and
Paul, you're
run
not
at
supposed
that
to
point.
rationally think about these things.
You have to, because when you're talking about killing a giraffe or a gorilla, you really have to think that through.
Right.
Because it's so logical.
And I
you'll
get
definitely
that.
be in that position at some point, so you need to know the answer.
If you could go back...
I probably will. That will probably be the end of my life, is being killed by a gorilla or a giraffe, and I have a bat in my hand. That's it.
If you could... think if you could go back and stop the Holocaust, if you could go back and stop World War I, if you could go... But I'm with you, Paul, in that... there are consequences for those actions. So my if I were to go back and give my younger self the opportunity to become rich, for me it would be less about being rich and more about I don't want to tinker with the past, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense to me.
All right, next question. Laurel, you can only drink one beverage for the next 6 months. Which beverage would you choose? Water, milk, fruit juice, soda, or coffee, or tea?
Okay. No, let's take water out of it because I feel like everybody's going to choose water. It's the healthiest option. It's what keeps you alive.
Okay,
let's not do water.
We'll take water out of it then.
I am going to choose tea because it'd be caffeinated or uncaffeinated, and it has all types of different flavors.
All right, very good. Nicole?
I was going to say there was just that story about the lady who drank like a bunch of water in 20 minutes and then died from drinking too much water.
Yeah, that does happen.
So stayed away from water.
Well, we took water off the list,
right.
evidently.
So now I have to change my answer.
Milk, fruit juice, soda, coffee, or tea?
I would say fruit juice as long as it's all natural. Nothing added to it. Straight from oranges or wherever I'm getting it.
Paul Cross?
I'm with Laurel. I'm with the tea. Give me the tea.
See, here's my problem. I hate tea. Even though I was raised in Texas, you'd think I would love tea. That's all they drink in Texas. I don't like tea. I don't like the caffeine in coffee. Soda is too sugary. Fruit juice is too sugary. I'm going with milk for 6 months. It does a body good.
I can't drink milk when I'm on the air because it gets me all that.
Oh yeah,
and so that's the first thing I thought of is milk is out for me.
Yeah, makes me phlegmy also. Question number 12: would you rather never get tired or never get hungry and thirsty? Laurel.
I love sleeping. It is my favorite hobby. I would rather not get hungry or thirsty.
Nicole.
I don't feel like I ever feel hungry, so I'm going to go with never feel tired.
PC?
I'm never feel hungry or thirsty. I like sleep as well.
I would absolutely love to never feel tired. If I had unlimited energy, I would definitely go for that. All right, hang on. We got a couple of more questions. We got to get to the brass knuckles. Oh, as fate would have it, the brass knuckles question is next. So hang on. And it's lucky question number 13. It deals with brass knuckles and hippos. So we'll have that question for you. Coming up next, stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. News, weather, traffic, all the things you want on your drive home. Plus, Joe Kelley being, well, Joe Kelley. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
All right, it's our last segment here tonight on a Friday night. Next weekend is when Friday night high school football begins. I'm excited about that. All right, here is our Would You Rather question. Laurel, you're up first. You have brass knuckles and a spork. Do I have to explain what a spork is?
No.
Okay. You have brass knuckles and a spork. Which would you rather fight to the death? A hippo, a tiger, or a 9-foot alligator?
It's a very layered question.
Okay.
Brass knuckles and a spork, a hippo.
Both at the same time.
Yeah, you can have one in each hand.
Okay.
A tiger or a 9-foot alligator.
I'm not choosing the hippo. Okay.
Hippos are deceptive. They look sweet and cuddly. They're not.
No, they are
vicious and terrible.
Awful. Yes.
Predators, apex predators.
I was going to choose the gator, but I feel like I can't get through their little iron armored skin.
Yeah.
And I love tigers, but I'm going to have to choose tiger.
You could poke their eyes out with a spork.
Did you say I have to kill it or I can just fight it?
No, you have to fight it to the death.
As much as I love tigers, I guess I'm picking the tiger.
Nicole.
Yeah, I hate to pick the tiger, but I just don't. Yeah, you're definitely not getting a spork through the skin of a gator.
But you could poke the gator's eyes out.
But that might not kill it.
But at least you've blinded it to give you a competitive advantage.
And then what am I going to do?
Brass knuckles.
But that's scary. I don't want my hands near it.
Yeah, I get that. What about you, Paul Cross?
I think I'm bowing out of these questions from now on.
Is that a choice?
No, that is absolutely not a choice.
I guess I'd take the alligator to fight.
Yeah, me too.
I've got a spork. what more can I want?
Right. All right, hang on. We've got very little time left here. Here's this potentially our last question. Would you rather be an iconic rock star and die at the age of 35, or work an average blue-collar job making $40,000 a year and die at the age of 80?
So what I'm doing right now? Yeah, sure. Let's go that one. No, there's plenty of
would I
beauty
rather
and fun in
would I rather
normal
be
life.
dead right now, or
Yeah. No, I choose the normal life.
All right, Nicole.
Normal life.
Paul.
normal life?
What? I'd rather be a rock star, die at 35. Okay, last. Would you rather live in Afghanistan or North Korea? Go, Laurel.
Afghanistan.
All right.
Afghanistan.
Paul.
Afghanistan.
I think the North Koreans would really like me.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm very tall, and I would be...
So are they.
In North Korea?
I don't
they're
think
not
they're
very
like-
tall.
You'd be like a circus freak over
I would
there.
be a circus freak. I could make a living. I could make a mint off of being the tall guy.
As long as you're like not in prison, right?
Oh, yeah, that whole thing, I'm sure. As the guy Warmbier that died there, he was very tall also, but they killed him, so...
Maybe that's a tell.
And we'll leave you on that note. What a terrible note to leave you on a Friday night. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. Drink plenty of fluids this weekend. And we'll see you guys Monday right here on WDBO.